Hi everyone, I'm Susan Karenge. I'm here to talk about how alcoholism has affected my relationship with my brother. And alcoholism is it's a beast. It's an animal that um, comes to destroy family, and you do not know you're changing until you're in it or after your person is well. That's when you realize, oh, you'd really changed because the changes are some are subtle, some are major. One of the changes was I just, to date, I think I struggle with trust when it comes to my brother because the the lies were just too much. You never knew when he was telling the truth. You never knew when he was lying. The other thing was stealing. You just couldn't leave your handbag. You couldn't leave anything of yours unattended. You get home, you have to lock your car. You're sleeping, you can imagine you're sleeping and it hits you, oh my god, I didn't lock my car. And maybe that's why you've left your handbag. So you go and you lock your car, and you actually open the doors in the middle of the night to go and check if everything is okay. So there were times I'd find maybe money missing, other times I'd find all of it missing. And there was this particular time I remember I had this wallet that had my uh, money. It had everything, my ATMs, my ID card, and some bit of money. So I had carried it with me. It was on the seat where I was. So when I retired later that evening, I realized, I actually didn't realize till the next morning that, oh my God, I left my wallet. So I was to take my youngest child for her monthly clinic. I quickly dashed downstairs and to the seat where I'd left it. Unfortunately, it wasn't there, it was missing. And the only person who was there when I left was my brother. And the only person who was there when I did go back down in the morning was my brother. So basically, it adds up to, he was the one who took my wallet. And I remember asking him for it, and he was unmoved. He just looked at me. He had this blank stare. He was like, yeah, I don't think I've seen your wallet. I was like, no, it was just the two of us. So I know you have it. And I was like, please, I really pleaded with him to a point of crying, almost crying, and asked him, I really need to take one. I need to take my daughter for her clinic, and her card is in that wallet. Secondly, my ATM is in there, and I need to pay for that clinic, for that visit. And it's end month, I need to pay my house help. So really, you can take the money, you can keep it. I have no issues with that. Keep the money, but please, when I come back down, please just give me back my wallet. Otherwise, you'll have affected. These are the two major things you'll have affected. Because by the time I'm replacing my ATM card, it will take a bit of time. So please. So I went back up, got ready. When I came back down, I asked him for the wallet again. This time he was moved. He went to the bedroom where he had hidden it and brought it out. Minus, of course, the money. I think I had 3,000 shillings in it. I was like, it's okay, you keep the money. I didn't need the money. What was important was the card. So uh, that was one of the incidences. The other thing was you just never knew who will just approach you and demand for payment, because he used to go and ask for money. He like conned almost everyone he knew, even strangers at home, the family home at the estate. He asked money from the watchmen at home, the gardeners. He'd asked for money from them. He knew, like, oh, Susan has paid you, so you have money, give me 100 shillings. And I remember I had to threaten them. Actually, we had to use threats. So I was like, if you dare give him money, this will be the last time you'll be working here. At work, I remember mama had to, like, literally warn the employees, the ones handling the money, that if you let him take money, if you give him money, It will come off your salaries. So you can imagine it's now affecting us at home and at work. Our relationships were just a mess because of this thing. Like he just couldn't control himself. He used to come to work. He stopped coming because he just couldn't work. So Mama, at this point, I remember she'd taken him to the first rehab. There was a Christmas, I remember I went and spent the Christmas with him. And when he got out, I remember when he got out from the first rehab, I came from work and I went to pick him when they were releasing him. And you know what? By day 2, he was back. He was back drinking like, you know, nothing had happened. And he was supposed, there was the aftercare, there were clinics he used to attend and sessions. And I think he attended for a week and just stopped going. So we shopped around for another. This time it was a Christian based one. And we took him, it was at Matasia. We took him there and we'd go visit him. And, all through, we were supportive best we could. And I think he never made it through 2 months too, because most of these programs it takes 3 months. He never made it through. He just did 1.5 months, and he was kicked out for fighting. And I think he also got into, I think he somehow managed to sneak in either cigarettes or alcohol. I can't remember which, or maybe both. So when he was asked about it, he got into a physical fist fight with the counselors, and he was just told out. And you know what? He left everything because we had bought quite a bit of things for his stay there. So he just left and showed up at home. And he got me at home because he got there pretty early. I think by 9 or 9:30 he was home. So I was shocked because, for me, there was some bit of work going home that I was supervising. So I was like getting ready to leave now for the office. And we got into an altercation, a verbal one, and he called me quite a number of choice words, insults. Huh? And they were insults. So I was like, God, now what do we do? And I couldn't, at this point, he was sober, so he knew what he was doing. He was trying to intimidate me, and there was no way I was going to take that like that. No way, I'm not that kind of person. So we got into it. Then I told him, you know what? I have a life. I need to get to work. So I left him there. So that evening, when I got home, I think he realized he made a mistake and he apologized. So now here we are brainstorming how best to help him. So, and this all through this his second stay there, I remember I was pregnant with my second child. I was heavily expectant. So I was wondering now how best can I support mom through this? And that's when we struck up an idea of, okay, let's try get him a job and move him out of the home. We get an apartment for him and furnish it. And that's what we did. So he moved out, he started work, he showed up every day for work. Month 1 was good. And when we got the house, I remember Mama paid for 2 months rent and deposit. And my contribution here was, I remember I was not feeling well, but once I did feel better, I furnished that house. I bought even pegs. I bought everything from pegs to bed sheets to the TV to the gas. So all he needed to do was just move in. On the day he was moving in, me with my I think 8.5 month pregnancy, I moved. I remember I helped him move, and we got someone to help him lift the heavy stuff up, and I left him settled in well. So he was showing up at work, but then remember the debt issue? He was racking up debts. He was lifting, petty stealing from his colleagues. Things he would do when he was at our business. So it really messed the relationship, the trust that we had for him. We just couldn't know when he was lying, when he was telling the truth. the manipulation got to epic levels. Like, he would do anything to just get his way, you know. And when he realized that, mom is serious about him staying out, because she actually got a private guard to stay at home, you know, so that he just doesn't come home. And well, because he used to climb over the walls at night at whatever, so you can imagine the security risk that was. So when he realized that there's no way he's going to manipulate his way back home, he was like, I think now month one, month two, these 2 months are up. I can't pay rent because he's paid at work. But then what happens? He drinks and he'd rack up debts even in these bars. So anything he could lay his hand on to own, he'd own. So he stole from the home. Remember, there's a small Bluetooth speaker of my son's that he took from my mom's place. At the time we were at my place at Tuja. So he'd take and go pawn. So it was bad. So eventually the turning point came when he tried. I remember he spent that Sunday with mom and everything was okay. And then I'd given her a report on one of the businesses, the guest house, and how it was performing well and the things that I was doing. So I think I don't know, that day, actually, they spent the day very well together. He managed to sell two of her books, and she paid him a commission. So they got home, I think, at around 8, and he left. We didn't know where he disappeared, because at this point he doesn't have a phone. He just couldn't keep a phone. He left, and he went. Unfortunately, he was at the guest house, and he caused chaos there, and he beat up customers, and they beat him up, and he was bleeding. It was bad. So when I did go, because I was called in the middle of the night, when I did go the next morning, because I told them just lock him up in a room and then I'll come in the morning. In the morning, what he did, he almost broke down that door. So when he realized I was going to see him and meet him and find the state he was in, he ran away. So I never got to see him. I was just getting reports of how he was looking like. I saw the havoc it caused. I saw the broken bottles. It was bad. It was a mess. So he decided, he made a few calls. I think he's very good with numbers. He could cram quite a number, like people's phone numbers. He had so many of them up here. So he called around, and I think he managed to raise some amount of money, and he hooked up with one of his drinking buddies, and off they went to Nakuru. At Nakuru, it's like he was trying to get himself killed because he drank, he was not paying, you know. So Mama was called, and someone went and picked him up. So we were ever worried. We never knew where he was or when he'd show up, what he'd do. So he did go to Eden Village, and there he spent like 1.5 years there. In those months, I remember initially I'd go see him, but then at some point, we actually we hit our lowest level, because I remember there was a time we got into an altercation, and Mama intervened, and it was because of my phone. And she kicked both of us out. So me, I went to my place, and I remember that's when I drew my boundary. Because now he'd left the rehab, so he was at the halfway house, and the altercation happened at I think at that point. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. Whatever Mama wants to do for him, let her do it. She's the mother. I mean, I'm also a mother. I also have my children to take care of, and here I'm giving of my blood, sweat, and tears to someone who just can't appreciate it. And I'm ever caught in between the scaffolds, and I used to get the tail end. I used to get the bad end of this thing. So on this one side, my mom is wondering, are you supporting him? You're not doing enough. It's like, so I was like, how much more can I give of myself? At this, I'm running the businesses. I have my kids I have to take care of. I'm running the family home, and I'm supporting my mom, and I am supporting him. It was just too much for me. I just had to take care of me. So I was like, you know what? You're his mom. He's your son. Make the decisions. Me, I'm out. All I can do is support. So I supported from the sidelines. So whatever she decided to do for him, I was okay with it. I never opposed in any way. So at this level, I wasn't. I remember she'd call me and she'd be like, "Are we going to see him?" I'll be like, "No." So I drew my boundary. So I was like, you know, my son has these sessions and these chess sessions, and I just can't make it. So I didn't go. So we basically have come a long way, and we're still working on our relationship. It's not easy. We also had, as a family, we had each one of us had a session alone with the counselor, and we realized just how messed up we were. We really had to dig down deep and see the root cause of this. And there were issues back then. There were issues when we were growing up, and we made our peace. Even right now, my relationship with my mother has improved because we really didn't have that mother-daughter kind of relationship, because my brother was always the go-between. Now there's that friendship. There's the friendship. I can talk to her about anything. And we are happy. Even my kids, they are enjoying quite the relationship she has now with my kids is awesome. We are healing, and you guys, as a family, you have to want healing for your person. And just know it is a journey. It is a journey that you have to be willing to walk, and you have to be willing to unmask yourself, bear yourself, because it's not easy. That's the only way you're going to find healing. So at the moment, we're working on my relationship with my brother. The trust is coming in slowly, but it has a long way to go. But the friendship, well, the friendship bit is excellent. Uh, and we believe that we'll get there. Our relationship will be better for it. And there's healing. There's healing. Just go and find it and bear yourself. Thank you for giving me your time. That is my story as Susan, the sister to Ben, having you.